So this here's my binary rifle. It was made completely out of styrofoam. It was painted up.
Whoa! What are you doing?
I'm showing off my binary rifle.
This is supposed to be at the Destiny Warlock costume, you know, right?
You never let me show off this. Why didn't you go do an EVA foam ODST helmet tutorial, huh? Dick. G'day everyone, welcome to another video by myself, Andrew DFT. So I wanted to give you a quick overview on how I actually went about making my Destiny Warlock costume that you would have seen on Facebook and the photo shoots all over the place on many of my different media. As a lot of you guys have really questioned me about it, and rather than explain every individual time, I'll release it in a video so you all get the gist of it. So just like any costume or any design that someone wants to build, you need to have reference photos or at least an idea of where you're starting. So for me, it was my Destiny character that I used, of course, in the game, which was this one here. I absolutely loved the design and I really wanted to kind of push it into an actual costume. But for me, this would be something different as I really hadn't figured out or knew how to sew yet, which could have been a problem. But ultimately, I just said, hell, we'll give it a go and see how it all comes together. Thankfully, sewing is pretty much like making any prop or any armored EVA foam costume. It all is based on how well you can actually template the original design. That's why when you look at sewing costumes, everyone's always like, oh, do you have the templates? Can you spare some plans? I'd love to know how you actually put it all together. If you can nail those, you can get at least a good start on actually sewing together a costume. Now I picked this up for about $100, which isn't expensive for a sewing machine, but this isn't a highly advanced one. This is a very basic one that allows me to get a good learning curve for what sewing machines can do, and allows me to sew just the basic materials, which thankfully was all I needed for this Destiny costume. Now seeing it in photos is different, but actually seeing it up close you can see how it's all been created. The material was just bought as that simple material, which then I used some basic YouTube tutorials to figure out what is the basics of sewing. Like legit, I actually Googled what is the basic sewing stuff, and yeah, pretty much I managed to figure out how to kind of look at it. Now if you look at it from front, that's pretty much what my main focus was. If you turn it around, I mean, half the people that know how to sew would look at me and go, oh, what the hell have you done? You've brutalized this sewing technique. But for me, that didn't matter. I knew I was always going to see it from the front. Photos are always going to see it from the front, so that was my key focus. As long as you can make it look pretty, it should appear pretty. Now, armor was a part that I was familiar with, so going ahead, I knew that I could complete the armor parts. But the helmet was something quite specific that needed, well, somewhat of a more refined touch. But I didn't know how to do it because I didn't want to use Pepakura as a method, so I did decide I'm going to combine styrofoam and EVA foam together and try and do my best using, well, like I said, the best template that I could muster up. So designing it, I kind of then broke it into little sections where I thought each piece could work together, and that really was combination of what my knowledge is and what I can construct and how I know that I can mount and form this foam to get these kind of shapes. So luckily it all started to come together and then finally give us the final result, which of course went through some color testers and then finally came out as the helmet that you know and the one you've seen, which of course is this one here. Yeah! Now of course this one doesn't have a visor. I actually filled it in post effects using Photoshop because you don't really need a visor for something that you're not going to see. It's going to be stuck in my room and I'm fine with not spending the money on actually having to implement one into it. But for the most part it fits perfectly fine and it looks like it should, and he's pretty much a decent helmet which was made from styrofoam and EVA combined. So after that was all done, of course, then I went out and scouted out a location. I went to find something that looked somewhat like either Mars or Venus or an Earth kind of rust area. So I managed to find this place which looked, what I thought was more like Mars, sorry. So I'm like, hell, let's do it, let's go shoot here. So in the end, went out, got some nice photos, and I was extremely impressed. Extremely happy with how this costume turned out from the original start, point 1 to point, I don't know, 10, whatever you want to measure it in, but I was extremely happy and I got great feedback from you guys, so definitely looking forward to how my second Destiny turns out, which you can check out on my Facebook page, so make sure you're up to date there and you'll definitely see when everything new comes out. But in the end, it all came together. It was a combination of new skills and old skills, and just some new techniques that I've picked up along the way thanks to the wider community out there. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll catch you later.